What if I told you that the only thing standing between you and greatness isn't talent, intelligence, or opportunity? It's something far more dangerous, something invisible that lives inside your mind. The silent killer of dreams, fear. And today's story will show you exactly how to destroy it before it destroys you. Picture a life where you're constantly second-guessing yourself, where every conversation feels like a test you're failing, where your own voice feels trapped inside your throat, begging to be heard but too terrified to speak. This isn't just discomfort. This is psychological imprisonment. And for millions of people, it's their everyday reality. Intelligence means nothing when fear holds the steering wheel. You could have the brightest mind in the room, but if anxiety controls your decisions, you'll watch from the sidelines while others with half your potential sprint past you. The tragedy isn't lacking ability. It's possessing it, but being too afraid to use it. Let me share a powerful story that demonstrates exactly what I'm talking about. In a bustling metropolitan area, there was a merchant who made his living through the salt trade. His household consisted of his wife and their 2 boys. The older child possessed a timid personality. He struggled to engage in conversations and avoided eye contact. His younger brother, by contrast, radiated energy and spoke with ease. Because of his reserved demeanor, people mistakenly assumed the older son lacked intelligence. His silence was interpreted as stupidity. Neighbors took advantage of his gentle nature, knowing he wouldn't push back. But he bore it all without protest. His father constantly expressed frustration with his firstborn's withdrawn behavior. The criticism was relentless and harsh. With each scolding, the boy's already fragile self-worth crumbled further. This created a vicious cycle. The more his father criticized him, the more insecure he became. And the more insecure he became, the worse his performance. Academic life became increasingly difficult. During examinations, his mind would go blank from anxiety. His hands trembled as he wrote, making his answers illegible. Despite understanding the material, fear sabotaged his success. His grades reflected not his intelligence, but his terror of judgment. When he reached young adulthood, his father demanded he contribute to the family enterprise. Too afraid to refuse, he accepted. But working in the shop proved disastrous. His nervousness made him clumsy. Customer interactions became painful ordeals. Simple transactions turned into confusing exchanges because his words wouldn't come out right. His father's disappointment intensified with each mistake. Then came the day that changed everything. While the merchant was away handling business matters, a group of con artists approached the shop. They spoke with authority, claiming the father had instructed them to collect the entire salt inventory for a major city contract. The young man sensed something felt wrong, but his lifelong habit of staying silent prevented him from asking questions. His fear of confrontation was stronger than his instinct for self-preservation. Within minutes, the swindlers loaded up everything and vanished. When the father returned to find his shop completely emptied, his rage erupted like a volcano. "You incompetent fool! You've destroyed years of my work. Get out! I never want to see your face again!" Those words shattered something fundamental in the young man's soul. The accumulated weight of years of mockery, failure, and shame became unbearable. He wasn't just heartbroken, he felt erased, as if his existence was a mistake that needed to be corrected. He found himself walking toward the river as darkness fell. Each step felt automatic, like he was watching himself from outside his body. The water looked peaceful, a final escape from the prison of inadequacy. He thought, everyone would be better off without me. I'm just a burden, a mistake that never should have happened. As he prepared to step off the edge, a weathered hand gripped his shoulder and yanked him backward. An elderly stranger had appeared from nowhere, pulling him away from the brink. If you're enjoying this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. "Why would you stop me?" the young man shouted, his voice raw with anguish. "My existence serves no purpose. Everything I touch turns to disaster." The elderly man's expression remained calm but firm. Life is the most precious gift in the universe, given to us only once. While you're breathing, transformation remains possible. But if you surrender now, you'll never discover what you're truly capable of achieving. You don't understand, the young man replied bitterly. Fear controls everything I do. My own father despises me. I barely finished school. People call me an idiot, and they're probably right. What hope exists for someone like me? The old man's eyes narrowed thoughtfully. Come with me. I have something to show you. Without explanation, he turned and began walking. Something in his tone made the young man follow. At the old man's modest home, he made an unusual proposition. I can answer your question about whether your life has value, but it requires commitment. Give me 3 days. Complete 3 challenges I assign you, and I'll transform how you see yourself. Desperate for any glimpse of hope, the young man agreed. The first challenge arrived immediately. Tomorrow, you'll initiate conversations with 10 complete strangers. Ask about their lives. Document what they share with you. The young man's stomach knotted with anxiety, but he'd made a promise. The next morning, he forced himself to approach people. The first few ignored him completely. Others gave brief, dismissive responses. But he persisted. Something shifted as the day progressed. By his 8th conversation, a woman shared her entire life story with him. By the 10th, he'd actually enjoyed the interaction. He returned to find he'd not only completed the task, he'd made genuine connections. The second challenge proved even more daunting. Today, you'll teach 10 children about why water matters for their health. That's impossible, the young man protested. My education is incomplete. I'm not qualified to teach anyone anything. The old man smiled knowingly. Those children don't know your educational background. They only know what you choose to show them. Share what you understand about water. That's sufficient. Standing before a group of curious young faces, the young man's heart hammered against his ribs. His mouth went dry. But he began speaking anyway, explaining 5 simple reasons why drinking water matters. His voice shook, but he pushed through. The children listened attentively. When he finished, they actually thanked him. He'd done it, and more importantly, he realized the fear hadn't killed him. It had just been noise. The third challenge arrived on the final day. Return to your father. Apologize for what happened. Terror flooded back instantly. Absolutely not. He'll never forgive me. It's pointless. Then I cannot give you the final lesson, the old man said simply. The choice is yours. After hours of internal struggle, the young man gathered every fragment of courage he possessed and returned home. His legs felt like they might give out as he knocked on the door. When his father answered, the young man looked him in the eyes, something he'd rarely done, and spoke from his heart. He apologized for the loss. He acknowledged his mistakes, but he also promised to prove he could change. Something in his son's demeanor, a newfound steadiness perhaps, made the father pause. After a long silence, he agreed to give him another opportunity. The young man rushed back to the old man's house. I did it. Now please, tell me the secret. How do I become successful? The old man's face broke into a warm smile. You've already uncovered it. Your real enemy was never shyness. It was the fear you allowed to rule your decisions. Here's what most people never understand. Others perceive you exactly as you present yourself. Project weakness, and they'll treat you as weak. Project confidence, and they'll respond to your strength. True power comes from believing in your own worth. Tears streamed down the young man's face as comprehension dawned. I understand now. Fear only wins if I let it. Years passed. That timid boy who couldn't string 2 sentences together became a successful entrepreneur, admired for both his business acumen and his unwavering confidence. His transformation became legendary in the community. Here's the truth this story reveals. Confidence is not a genetic trait you're born with or without. It's a skill you develop through practice, like any other ability. Every person you admire for their confidence once felt afraid too. The difference is they refuse to let fear make their decisions. Shyness isn't a life sentence. Fear isn't permanent. Doubt isn't your destiny. The young man believed his identity was failure. He accepted that label as truth. But when he finally confronted his fears instead of running from them, everything changed. Not because he became a different person, but because he discovered who he'd been all along beneath the layers of fear. Confidence emerges when you deliberately step into discomfort. Growth happens at the edge of your comfort zone, not in the center of it. The world doesn't respond to who you are on the inside. It responds to what you choose to project outward. Start small. Take one action today that scares you slightly. Then tomorrow, take another. Gradually, you'll realize that the catastrophic outcomes you imagined never materialize. The monster in your mind is far more terrifying than reality ever is. You possess reserves of strength you haven't accessed yet. Courage you haven't needed to call upon. Capability you've never tested, but it's there, waiting for you to claim it. The only question is, will you? This story proves that transformation is always possible. Fear feels permanent until you challenge it. Then it reveals itself as the illusion it always was. If this resonated with you, show your support by hitting that like button and dropping a comment below. Share which part of this story hit hardest for you. I read every single comment. And listen, if you're serious about changing your life, don't stop here. Check out our next video where we dive even deeper into practical strategies for building unshakable confidence. Click that video now and make sure you're subscribed so you never miss content that could transform how you see yourself. Your next breakthrough might be just one video away. Don't wait. Watch it now, and I'll see you there. Until then, stay patient, stay ambitious, and keep pushing forward.